Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TradeStation Masterclass. And it's not morning, it is actually afternoon where I'm at. So, no, it's still morning. No? Oh, it is morning because I'm in Central Time. It is afternoon Eastern Time. So, that's just to be a little bit more accurate. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Trading and Education for TradeStation Securities. And it's a pleasure to be talking about the TradeStation trading platforms and show you all the cool things that are available on two main applications, the Trade Manager and the Trade Manager Analysis. We're going to talk about both of them and why they are called the same. So before we get started on this topic, let's go through some of the disclosures. Just keep in mind that every symbol and idea that I talk about is for educational purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation. Also, that active trading is not suitable for everyone, especially if you're trading more risky products like options and futures, which are leveraged. Past historical performance is no guarantee of any future results, and we should all be aware of these risks. For additional information, you see the link right there in the PowerPoint, www.tradestation.com/important information for more details. All right, guys, let's get started. I'm going to switch over to my TradeStation platform, and I have docked my trade bar at the very top because we're gonna do some things on the trade bar so you can see how it gets reflected on the trade manager. And I've also shown you or displayed the position graph bar so that I can see my open positions in my TradeStation platform. So let's go ahead and open up the trade manager. I'm going to go to apps. And the first thing that I want to point out is that trade manager and trade manager analysis may be next to each other. So sometimes it is easy to confuse them. So here's the difference. Trade manager is the one that keeps track of your account information, your open positions, and any active orders that you may have. And if you're running any strategy trading, trade manager is also there. The trade manager analysis, as the name of the application implies, is going to be a tool that analyzes your trade manager information. That's all that it does. So if you're looking for the control center for your trading activity, it's probably just the trade manager you're looking for. Again, the trade manager analysis is just an additional application that runs on the trade manager and creates a report for you. Not an official report, not something that is a substitute to a statement or a daily confirmation, because those are the actual, P&L numbers, but it does give you an idea of where your trading stands when it comes to performance. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna open up the trade manager, which, as I said at the beginning, this is the control center for your trading account. I want you to, from the get-go, notice that there's multiple tabs at the very bottom of the trade manager window, although what you're looking at is my trading activity for today. If I hadn't placed any trades today, this would probably be blank. But the trade manager, specifically the orders tab, which is the first tab that comes up on the trade manager, it's color coded. So it stands out because of that reason, especially if you've been trading and you've had multiple order results. You'll see multiple colors. Like in this example, you see yellow, you see blue, you see black, you see gray. So what does this all mean? Well, to get used to the colors that are used in the trade manager, look at the order status column, because it does tell you, because the color, it's linked directly to the status of the order. So anytime you see yellow, you see it say you are out order status, meaning that you are canceled. So anytime you cancel an order, you'll see this color. Anytime you get filled, you'll see the blue color. So these are the orders that actually got filled that put you into a trade. Anything that's black, it's queued. And anything that is gray, it's something that it's working for you. It's an active order, an order that hasn't gotten filled. This order, I placed it in my previous presentation or the previous class that we did, an order on or a trade I did on the micro E-mini. And I put in the trade to get filled at this price, 41.8175. The order's still there. It hasn't been filled, and that's why it shows you that gray color. At the very top over here of the trade manager, you have ways of filtering your activity so that if you're looking for something and you have a whole lot of row information here, then you can filter it. So let's say that I know that I traded Microsoft today, but in a sea of MESM22, I may have a hard time seeing it. So here in my symbol filter, I type in MSFT, and the list is automatically filtered just to show me my trades on Microsoft. I sold Microsoft, and I sold it at 283.56. Okay. This orders tab, of course, doesn't show you any P&L. It doesn't tell me if this closing transaction generated a loss or a profit. I don't even think it provides me what my entry price was. It tells me what my selling transaction is. No, it tells me what my commission. I'm just scrolling to the right-hand side so you can see all the information that's here. By the way, if the information that's here is way too much, meaning that there are some items here that you would like to see removed so that it condenses the information, you can format that. But before I show you how to do that, let's talk about profitability, because I do know that I exited Microsoft right now. What I really want to know is how much money did it lose or made. So one trick, let me show you something that you probably are not aware of, or maybe you are. But on the trade manager, if you go to your balances tab, on the balances tab, I see that I have, let me filter my balances, because one of the things that the trade manager does is that it pulls in account information of everything that is linked to my trade station. So I have a Forex simulator, I have 3 equities accounts, I have 3 futures account. So there's a lot to digest in here. And at the very top of the balances tab, you can filter by account. I'm going to just go to the equities account because that's the one that I'm inquiring about. I closed Microsoft. I want to see what happened to it. I'm going to go here to my equities. I have 3 different accounts, but if I'm towards the bottom of this, you're going to see 2 rows that are called real-time unrealized and real-time realized. I go here a lot of times when I'm closing trades, or specifically closing trades, because it does keep track of what your P&L is for each one of the symbols. Let's go to unrealized first. In unrealized, you're only going to see open positions. So you can see that American Express is listed there because I have a position open on American Express that is losing about $243. Over here in American Express, you see the real-time loss as well, 243. But the nice thing is that I can open up this other row that says real-time realized and open that up, and you can see that I see Microsoft listed in there, even though I don't have an open position for Microsoft, but I know that I exited it today. I'll see it listed here just for today. And I see that I realized a profit of 914. How do I know it's a profit? Because it's not within parentheses. A number inside parentheses is a negative, and a number that is not inside of parentheses is a positive. So on this trade, of course, I earned $914. Tomorrow, when I log into TradeStation, that information is going to be gone. So I just want you to be aware that any closed trade that you do in the current trading session will show up here, and it'll tell you, what your realized P&L is. Pretty cool, huh? Historically, there's no historical setting here. I cannot say, well, show me the ones that I traded yesterday and what the P&L was. Sorry, not available. So this is only information that's available as long as you are within the trading session where these trades occur, okay? And of course, American Express does show up in here because that's still unrealized. So as long as I have my American Express position open, I'll always see a row for American Express showing me what the real-time P&L for that position is. All right, let me go back here to orders. Be also aware of any filters that you use. A lot of times if we come back here to another tab and I say, well, what happened to all my orders? I know for a fact that I had more orders. Before you freak out and you start calling client services and finding out what the problem with your account is, just remember that if you use any filters, you have to remove them so that, we see all the account information. Another thing to keep an eye on is an account number. Here, I do not recall filtering this to equities. So notice that I removed Microsoft from within the symbol box and it didn't bring my trading, history back. So I have to go back here and say all. That's the way that is set by default. It's showing all your trading activity on all your linked accounts. Here I see futures mixed in with equities, but you can use the account filter if you wanted to filter, show me just equities or show me just futures, and it'll do that for you in here. On the far right, you do see the ability to select a date range, which sometimes is useful if you want to load historical data, and it will load it and it'll give you a chronological sequence of every single order that you placed into your account, which is very helpful. Does not create a profit and loss statement. It just loads activity for you. So if you're wanting to download activity or trading activity, you can do it from within TradeStation, the Trademanager window. Let me load history here from January and see what happens. So I'm going to select the dates and retrieve the orders. When you do a specific date range, you do have to specify an account number. So that's what the pop-up message says here. So I'm going to come over here to my accounts and I'm going to choose my margin account that has, which one? The oldest margin account. I have 3 margin accounts. I'll choose the oldest one. So let me do from January 1st and retrieve the orders. So this goes and loads all my equities trading activity since January 1st. Notice that January 1st is going to be at the very bottom. I didn't trade January 1st. The markets were closed. So my very first trade of the year happened January 6th. And this is all sorted in chronological sequence. Although you can sort by any of the columns here. So if you want to sort by symbol, double click on symbol, and it sorts in ascending order. Double click again, and it sorts in descending order. The same thing happens with the price. If you want to sort by the filled price, you can sort by an ascending order and see what was the cheapest item that you traded. I traded some Microsoft calls for 16 and 17 cents. That was the cheapest trade I made. And then you can double click again to do it in descending order. And you can see that Amazon was the most expensive stock that I traded in this time period. So always be aware of what your filters are at the top so that you can, know exactly where you are. But these are all filtered by this column entered. So double clicking goes in descending. Double clicking goes in ascending, or vice versa. I always forget which one comes first, if it's ascending or descending, but always look at the values. And if it's not the order in which you want them, just double click on the column again, and then it'll do it in the opposite order. Okay. So that's that. Now, when it comes to columns here, there may be things that you're probably not interested in, for whatever reason, maybe you're interested here in entered and filled and canceled because you want to know the relationship of that time frame, because you send an order at a specific date and may get filled at a different time and date if it's GTC. So sometimes having the dates and the times of where you entered the order and when it was filled or canceled is important. But let me go ahead and go here to settings and go to columns. So over here on the right-hand side, you have all the columns that are currently selected. So if you want to simplify the view, Feel free to come in here and remove anything that you think it's nice to have, but not important. Because I agree, you know, there is a lot of information here on a table format, and you have to scroll to the right to see a lot of this information. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and, oh, by the way, if I go to File and I click on, I have the option to save as a picture. I don't have the option to download into Excel from here. That's not an option. Data, in the data, there's nothing in data, nothing here. You can save it as a picture if you want. A picture doesn't allow you to sort or anything like that. It's just a picture. And there's no export feature. However, if you click on the very corner cell right here on the top left corner, it'll create a highlight around all the information. And sometimes I do that. I click on this little corner. It highlights all the information. I do Control C to copy. And then I come over here to Excel. I had a list of symbols here. Let me remove this. And I go here to an empty cell, right click, and I paste. And this gives you all the information that you had in the Trade Manager. It copies it and pastes it right over here inside of Excel. So if you do want to transfer this information into Excel, the best way to do it is just to copy and paste. I think it works really nicely. All right. Go back here to TradeStation. Let's reset everything. Let me go here to all. All right. A couple of things that you can do here in the Trade Manager. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but you have some control over some of these orders. So if you right click on any active order, like here at the very top, you have options to cancel, replace. Let's say that we want to cancel and replace with a different limit price. And instead of we're shooting for 41.87, I want to shoot for 41. The prices that are here are not the last traded price. These are based on your limit price. The limit price that I have here, what's my limit price? 41.81. Okay, 41.81.75. The last traded price is 41.87.50. So if you wanted to get closer to where the last traded price is, I can probably choose one of these higher prices and say, instead of 41.81, I want 41.84. That's only about 2.5 or 3 points higher, but you can choose that and it replaces your price. Right-clicking again, cancel, replace, and go to limit price, then shows you a different set of prices based on your limit price. Does that make sense? You know, you may not find the price you're looking for here. And if that's the case, you can do cancel, replace, but customize at the TradeStation trade bar. Because if I do want to get closer and say, I want to enter at 41.85, I can come here, enter my limit price of 41.85, and then click replace. So that replaces my limit order with 41.85, and you can see that you can do that right here from within the Trade Manager and not have to go to an order entry tool like if you're using the Matrix, if you're using chart trading, you can do it directly here from the Trade Manager. Very, very nicely. If I right click and I cancel this trade altogether, I'm going to cancel this by 3 micro ESM22. You can see how the whole setup turns orange. Clear indication that the order has been canceled and you are out. Does that make sense? I can right click on the original order and I can copy to the trade bar. When I copy to the trade bar, notice what it does. It brings in all the details of that same order, like buying 3 contracts at 41.85. It brings all the offset information that I had in there. Okay, I can make my stops again the same amount. Let's do -70. You can make edits to the order before it goes through, and then you can send the orders again. It says invalid order name. It's asking you for an order name. That's odd. order MES. Let's send the order, and the order is submitted one more time. You can see that it's right here at the very top with the new settings that we specified in here. So yeah, there's a lot of built-in functionality to the Trade Manager that you're probably not aware of. So take a look at the right-click menu and see all the things you can do from here. Because, you know, and I just got filled. Notice how the color changed. What I was seeing as black before, now it's gray because these are all active orders, you know, waiting to get filled for me. Great. If I go to my positions tab, you can see my two open positions, my American Express and my Micro E-mini. There are some settings that you can specify here that give you some more details. For example, if I go to settings window and I go to the, let me see where it is. Maybe not there. So let me go here to data, not in data. Preferences, settings, preferences. Let's go here to positions. You can show flat positions. So anything that you exit today, I'm going to expect to have it listed here. So I know that I traded a Microsoft. We talked about it just a moment ago. So if I check this box, it says show flat positions and I click OK. Notice that Microsoft is there, is flat. It does give me additional information of where it is at the moment, but it doesn't give me, again, it doesn't give me P&L, but at least I know that I traded Microsoft today, but now I'm flat. I have no position open on Microsoft. Unless I come here and I trade Microsoft, so I can go here to equities, MSFT, and let's buy 100 shares at market. So now Microsoft gets updated, and now instead of showing flat, it shows my actual, you know, position size. All right. There's a couple of tabs here in the Trade Manager that I want to point out. For example, average price. Average price just gives you everything that you've traded today or historically, and what the average price is of all those trades. I find this very handy if you want to, you know, if you trade something very frequently and you want to see what your average cost is. I can do that very quickly here. Let me go to January 1st, select my equities account, and then retrieve the orders. And then let me sort by the number of trades. And here you can see that I have 8 different trades on Twitter. And my average price was $38.29 and change. And you can see it just compiles all the trade together by symbol, and you can get a little bit more detail as to what your, you know, entry or your cost is. So let's go and right click on Twitter, and I'm going to do something additional here. I'm going to do show price average by date. And if I do that, now it sorts everything by date over here on the far left, showing me, well, actually, no, it's sorted by the number of trades, but you can see that Bank of America is the one that I traded the most per day, or when it's grouped by day. So this is where 6 trades of Bank of America on February 7th. My Twitter trades were kind of split. You know, I had 5 trades. This is interesting because Twitter, I see 5 trades here, 5 on March 28th, 5 on March 28th. And that's all that I have for Twitter, right? No, I have more Twitter here. So if I sort by symbol, I have all my Twitter trades. Oh, because now it's also splitting the buys and the sells. If you don't check that box, let me say show price average by date. If I check it, if I look at my Twitter, it's going to give me 8 sells and 7 buys. So a total of 13. So if I separate them again by date, I should have that amount. So we have 2, 7, 9, 14, and 15, which is exactly what we have in the other setting. But this is just a way of grouping your entries and exits and showing you a breakdown of how many times you traded something, what the average price is, either per day or in a collection. Just remember that you can right click and then show the full trades, okay? These are the number of trades. If you want to see quantity, the one that has the highest quantity, of course, was Twitter with 4,200 shares. Then it was Ford at 3,500 shares, and then Home Depot at 2,700, right? So again, also keep in mind that, and the trade manager will be very clear in letting you know that you need to specify an account, because when you do filters like this, when you load either historical trading activity or you want to see average prices, you do have to specify an account. Excuse me. Staged orders. I haven't talked about staged orders in a while, but staged orders is a way for you to save orders for later execution, whether it is later in the day or later tomorrow is Saturday, or later on Monday. You can have your orders remain here and you can send them with a click of the mouse. So if I know, for example, let's say that I know that I want to buy 100 shares of Twitter, TWTR. I don't have them in my account, but I want to buy 100 shares of Twitter. I'm going to say at market. I'm going to stage it. So I'm going to click on the stage button and stage as a buy. Notice how it's listed right here. It's not a trade that I'm sending for execution. I'm just saving it here as an item that I can send together with others. So let's say, for example, that I know that I want to trade Home Depot again. Stage as a buy. I'm going to do AT&T, stage as a buy. And let's do Citigroup. I'm going to stage it as a buy. So I have two here that I don't need. I'm going to highlight these two, right click and remove. Okay, so that way we can concentrate on the ones that I just added. But the nice thing is that I can just highlight these four symbols and say, send selected orders here on the right-hand side. And as soon as I do that, I get filled. So notice how interesting that was. You can stage the orders and then send them as a group. If you are the type of trader that does some analysis on the evenings and you want to get your trades ready for the next day, you can use the stage orders tab to get those orders ready and prepared. And if you have specific prices and specific durations, they can be here waiting for you to group them or grab them all together and submit them for order execution the following day. By the way, if you guys have any questions, let me know right there in the chat, okay? The next two tabs over, the strategy orders tab and the strategy positions tab, those two tabs will only display information if you're using a strategy. I don't have a strategy right here on this workspace. That's why strategy orders and strategy positions is completely blank. So just keep that in mind, because a lot of times you're going to look at the trade manager and you're going to say, well, what are these tabs for? The strategy orders and strategy positions. Well, precisely for that, for strategies. And strategies is something that you add on a chart that you want to automate, because it's not until you automate the strategy that you get information in here. Let me show you an example. Let me open up a chart. I'm going to put a strategy on here. Let's do the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so the strategy is working right here as you can see. Let's do 30 days of data. All right, so we have the strategy working on Twitter. Now, if I go back to my trade manager, there's nothing here yet. And the reason for that is because I'm not automated yet. If I go over here to the chart and I go to studies and I go to edit strategies, I have the strategies listed here. It's not until I check the box under automation then I'm able to send orders to the trade manager. In fact, the very first checkbox here says generate strategy orders for display. Display where? In the trade manager's strategy orders tab. So this first checkbox is not really automating the strategy for execution. You're just creating that link between the strategy and the trade manager. So now when I click OK and I go to my trade manager, I can go to my strategy orders and see nothing. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see, it's probably because I have, let me see, that's what it was. That I had filtered by an account and my strategy was not linked to that account. And we can see that the strategy has a strategy position Twitter is long 100. But at this point, it doesn't have any strategy orders because the strategy has not generated any orders. But if we wait until a signal happens, we should see some information in there. So again, strategy orders and strategy positions are not going to have any information unless you are working with automated strategies. Balances, we talked about a little bit. You can always come back here and see what your account balances are. And messages, I always come here if I get a rejected order. Rejected orders, sometimes happen. Sometimes you hear the voice in the background, order rejected. But that something happened and you have to see what happened. For example, let's go over here to my equities. Let's say, for example, we are going to trade Facebook. Facebook is trading at $205. Now, if I send a stop market order, and I try to buy it at $200, notice what happens. If I click on buy, I'm not sure if you heard it, but my computer said order rejected. And here in the messages tab, not only do I get the rejected message, but I see the reason. So here the reason is invalid stop price. Stop price must be above the current market. So it does give you a little bit more information as to why the order is rejected. So if you're hearing a lot in your trade station that an order is being rejected, come here because this is going to tell you or give you additional details about why the reject is happening, okay? So that's the trade manager. The trade manager analysis just compiles all the historical trading information inside of the trade manager and generates a report around that. Let me go ahead and open this up in a new workspace. Apps. I'm going to click the trade manager analysis. This is the way that it comes up by default. So if you're expecting something different, if you open up the trade manager analysis and you're expecting the trade manager, the one we talked about, it's from the looks of it, is totally different. So if this is completely unfamiliar to you, then you probably opened up the wrong application. Because this one, again, as I said before, it's going to look at all the trading activity that it finds inside of the trade manager and generate a report around it. Over here, I have all the accounts that are linked to my trading simulator. I'm going to leave them all on, but I'm going to select the date range over here to February 1st. I wanted to show all symbols, so I'm just going to click on generate, and this is exactly what this will do. It'll pull up all my trading activity and tell you exactly how I'm doing. And as you can tell, I'm a lousy trader. You can see that I've lost $46,000 of simulated money in my accounts. I've entered 93 different trades. 31% of those trades have been profitable. I have 29 winning trades, 62 losing trades. But it gives you a very detailed report on your trading activity. In fact, this is built on the same report that you can get when backtesting strategies. So if you pull up the strategy performance report, this is going to be exactly the same. It uses the same engine, but instead of using, the trades that are in the strategy backtest, like the signals that are happening historically, what this uses is your historical trading activity. And it loads the trading activity and it compiles the report and gives you this performance report. But you have your trade analysis, you have your trade list, the periodical returns, you have your equity curve line, which is a terrible equity curve line, trade and settings. So you have everything that you have to measure the performance of a strategy. You have those same tools here to measure your own performance. But again, I want to emphasize this again, and this is something that you always have to remember. This is not an official P&L report. So I cannot run the trade manager analysis and expect that I can use these numbers in my taxes. It doesn't work that way. This is not an official report. This is not done by a tax expert. This is not done by a CPA. This is a technology that sometimes is flawed, and I'm not sure how much experience you guys have on this particular tool, but I've seen it sometimes pair up your trading activity different than when it actually happened. And this is something that is it's not really as long as you're aware what the limitations of this tool this tool are, you're going to be fine. Because I cannot really discount the trade manager analysis for the way that it does things, but you just have to be aware of what it's doing, because it's sometimes it takes a mind of its own and it starts trading things or pairing up trades in the way that it thinks they happened. And I'm telling you this because the trade manager analysis, what it does, it just loads trading activity. It doesn't happen. I mean, it doesn't know exactly how these trades occurred. It sees that you probably bought, 300 shares of Microsoft, but it sees an exit for 100 in January, another exit for another 100 in February, and in March it sees another exit for 100. So what does it do? Does it count just one entry of 300 with 3 exits of 100 each, and that's a total of 4 transactions? No. What it does, it takes your entry of 300 and it's going to split it up into 3 different entries, and it's going to have an entry of 100 in January with its exit, an entry of 100 in February with its exit, and another entry in March with its exit, giving you a total of 6 different transactions, which is not technically accurate, but I'm just telling you this so that you are aware of it, that the trade manager analysis is going to assume the way that you traded things in your TradeStation platform. And this is going to be more significant if you're scaling in and scaling out of your positions. So be aware of that. Rich also is mentioning one of the limitations. It has a problem with worthless expiring options. Yes, since there's no exit associated with a worthless expiring option, then it doesn't really know what to do with it. So those are the type of things that this tool is not designed to do. So I guess Rich has been able to use the tool, and he has realized that, well, for the type of trading that he probably does, may not be very accurate, or as long as you're aware of the limitations, then you kind of understand, okay, I know why this is happening, but it's still very cool in the way that it generates this report based on your trading activity, which a lot of people use, just to keep an eye on how things are doing, but it is not an official P&L report, and that's something that we need to emphasize. That's it. Are there any other questions about the trade manager and the trade manager analysis that I haven't covered? Please, if you have any questions, let me know right here in the chat. But if you've developed strategies, you know that this report is exactly the same as the strategy performance report. It's just pulling the trades from different databases. The strategy uses the historical backtest to know what it entered and exited. This one uses your real trading activity. It knows where you entered and when you exited, and it tries to, pair up those trades together and generate a report. Okay. All right, guys. This is the content that I had for you. I appreciate your time. This is like perfect timing. My voice is just trying to give out, but I'm glad that I was able to to do the class. And I just want to wish everyone a great weekend. Today's Friday. So I'll see you guys on Monday again for for our masterclass. In the morning, before the masterclass session on Monday, I'll send out a text message or a coach alert because it's not a text message anymore. But I'll send out a coach alert letting you know what the topics of next week are going to be. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.